Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. War. Today we're going to look at geometry problems and we're going to look at similar triangles. Similar triangles are two triangles that are the same shape, they're both triangles, but they are proportional in size, meaning one triangle is bigger than the other. So if we look here, ABC is my small triangle and FGH is my bigger triangle. But they are both the same shape. They're both triangles. In similar triangles on the Tasc test, they're going to ask you to find the missing side. So one triangle will have all of its dimensions and the other one will be missing one. That's what you have to find. Now, when you have to find the missing length, you're going to use proportions. Proportions are basically two ratios that equal each other, and a ratio is a fraction. And I'm going to use my triangles to make my fractions. So I'm going to start here with the small triangle. To make the fraction, I'm not going to make it too difficult. I'm going to take 1.5 and I'm going to make that my numerator. And the 6, I'm going to make it my denominator. Now remember, I used this side here for my numerator. I'm going to put n. And this side here I used for my denominator. Now when I go to my bigger triangle, I'm going to use the similar sides like for the small triangle. FG is similar to AB. So this value will be my numerator, and then GH will be for my denominator because GH is similar to BC. It's just that GH is bigger. So over here, this would be x over 12. Now, once you've made your proportion, we got to solve for x. Now, to solve for x, we're going to use cross multiplication. So, as it says, cross multiply. So, these two numbers are going to multiply each other, and these two numbers are going to multiply each other. Now, you know from many of my videos, I always like my variable on the left-hand side. So, I'm going to start with my variable. 6 times x is 6x. And then over here, I'm going to take the 1.5 and I'm going to multiply it by 12. So this will be 6x equals, and if I take 12 and times it by 1.5, it will give me a value of 18. And now this is taking us into the realm of linear equations. This is a one-step linear equation. So to solve for x, I would have to divide both sides by 6. Therefore, x has a value of 18 divided by 6 is 3. Now, they don't always have to give you triangles. Sometimes they give you squares, and I find that when you get squares, students get a little bit lost. Again, they're similar figures. This is a small square, this is a much bigger square, and I have to find a missing value for x. So as before, I'm going to use the small square to make my ratio. I'm going to make the 5 my numerator and the 15 my denominator. Again, so this side is similar to this side, which means this 20 here is going to also be my numerator, and the BC, which is the 15, is similar to the GH, so that will be my denominator. So I have 5 over 15 equals 20 over x. And again, to solve these, you're going to cross multiply. So I'm going to cross. And again, remember, I like my x on the left. So 5 times x is 5x equals, and I'm going to take 15 and times it by 20. So I have 5x equals, when you multiply 15 times 20, it gives you a value of 300. And solving for x, because now this is a one-step equation, I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Therefore, x has a value of 60. These questions on the Tasc test are not very difficult. It is just identifying what type of problem they are and using the correct method. Okay, we have 2 final problems. So here it says use the similar triangles, and this is one of the things I noticed in the Tasc test. They'll always put the word similar in there, and if you see that word similar with triangles, you know you're going to have to use proportions. So use the similar triangles to find the height of the telephone pole. So notice I have two triangles. Okay, so here I'm going to make my fraction. I'm going to make it 8 over 6. So I started here, that's my numerator, and the 6 was my denominator. Now when I go to the other triangle, this side here, which is my x, would be my numerator, and the 15 my denominator. So I have 8 over 6, and then over here is going to be x over 15. We're going to cross multiply. I like my variable on the left. So 6 times x is 6x, and now I have to multiply 8 times 15. So I have 6x equals, and get your trusty calculator and multiply if you want to, but that's easy. That will be 120. And then finally, solving for x, I'm going to undo this operation by dividing both sides by 6. So x has a value of 120 divided by 6 is 20. So x is 20, and we're finished. Two triangles below are similar, so you see what I'm talking about. They like to use the word in there. Determine the length of side x. Now, I chose this example because they actually gave every side to this triangle, the big one. So my aim is to find a value of x. So I need this side right here. So I'm going to make this be my numerator. Now this x is similar to this side over here, which is 4.5. So this 4.5 will also be my numerator. And okay, I'm going to use the bottom one right here. So this will be my denominator, which is 5. This 5 is similar to this side over here, which is 7.5. So that will be my denominator. I have my numerator, denominator, numerator, denominator. So I'm going to make my proportion. So I have 4.5, which is over 7.5, equals x over 5. And I'm going to cross multiply. I like my x on the left, so 7.5 times x is 7.5x equals, and then over here, I'm going to take 4.5 and times it by 5. I'm going to pull out my trusty calculator for this one. I have to find out what's 4.5 times 5, so let's multiply 4.5 times 5. That gives me a value of 22.5. So I have 7.5x equals 22.5. And solving for x, I'm going to divide both sides by 7.5. So x has a value. I'm going to get my calculator. So notice I have the 22.5. All I have to do now is divide. And the answer is my 22.5. I'm going to divide by 7.5. And when I hit enter, my answer is 3. So x has a value of 3. Again, these problems are not that difficult. If you ever see the word similar, it means you're going to have to create a proportion. A proportion are two ratios that equal each other, and your ratios are fractions. You're building your fractions based on similar sides. I hope this lesson has been helpful. Good luck on your Tasc examination, and remember, please like, subscribe, and share, because we know there are a lot of folks out there who are trying to get their high school equivalency diploma.